And the one we're starting off with to begin with, I'm quite excited about this one. I'm going to go to Neeks first on this. It's Mo Salah versus Wayne Rooney.
You know what? I saw a tweet the other day. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was debating, and I guess he had made the decision of their side of the debate was that Wayne Rooney never had the streets. And it was clear, yeah, it was very strange. It's clear from the tweet. I was thinking you weren't watching football when Rooney was peaking, when Rooney was doing his bit, because Rooney had the streets. Literally,
Rooney is the streets.
Yeah,
he had his
literally.
own TV show.
Exactly, he had his own TV show.
I tweeted it. I was like, he had a typical street baller. He literally was the streets. And this is where I guess the legacy part comes in, because of course these people aren't. We already know who's on the debate or on the voting option so far. So if I speak about people like Ronaldinho, Zidane, those kind of players, whether there's players after them who have been greater, longevity, statistically, etc., those players' legacy are entrenched in history because they had the streets, as well as the football career and the achievements to go with it. And this is where Mo Salah and Wayne Rooney differ. I would say the biggest, because yes, Mo Salah has great stats in the Premier League. He has great achievements in the Premier League. Not as great achievements as Wayne Rooney, one Premier League compared to Rooney must have 5, I believe it is. 1 Champions League each. But Wayne Rooney, from the moment he hit the ground, 16 years old, scored that wonderful goal over David Seaman at Goodison Park, a last-minute winner, I believe it was, a late winner anyway. He had the streets, he had the media, he had the papers, he had the fans, he had everything. He had the country literally putty in his hands. And I think that's something that no matter how many goals Mo Salah scores between now and the end of the career, he ain't gonna win 4 more Premier Leagues to catch up with Wayne Rooney. I think come the end of their careers in the Premier League, come the end of their careers overall, Wayne Rooney is still going to be remembered to a greater level by both media as well as the people, the fans, than Mo Salah. And that is not to take away from Mo Salah, because I think Mo Salah is a brilliant player. I think he's world class. I think he's probably better than a lot of the people who are going to debate today. But when it comes to Wayne Rooney, I mean, you might even say he's underrated, because the players that he was actually coming up against and or playing with, and also kind of going toe to toe at times, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, he's immense. He's immense. So for me, it has to be Rooney.
I just feel like there isn't one category that Salah beats him in, apart from what he has, the goal scoring record in the Premier League, which is going to be broken this season. Salah doesn't beat him in any category. Rooney had the streets. I even remember when I was young, like the boots Rooney was wearing, the T90s, the green and black. I remember stuff about Rooney that like just you couldn't bring about Salah. Salah for me, Mr. Statman, he hasn't got nothing on Rooney. He's got more trophies. Rooney was doing it for way longer than Salah did. And yeah, man, I just think that this one's just so clear in Rooney's favor. For like he could go up against pretty much any Premier League player and there would be a debate for it, because Rooney's legacy is cemented, and he's one of the greatest players we've seen in England, like just in the Premier League, like that. Yeah, he's just so clear for me.
I just think it's just come across at the wrong time almost. Wayne Rooney, like it reminds me a little bit of like Andy Murray maybe, or Juan Martin Del Potro. You know, both unbelievable tennis players, but they came across at a time when there was Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. And the same sort of thing with Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney between 2007 and 2010 was untouchable. But we had Messi and we had Ronaldo and the back of Kaka. And it's like, if those men weren't around, we'll be talking about Wayne Rooney in the Ballon d'Or conversation. And I'm saying that as an Arsenal fan and someone who hates Man United with a passion. You know what I mean? So the fact, like, he's done everything that he's done, like, his goal scoring record is a joke. As he got older in his career, he started playing a little bit deeper and was still linking in. That United team, when Berbatov, Ronaldo, he was there as well. Tevez, very reminiscent of the Man United of 98, 99 times when you had the 4 strikers then, you know, and it didn't matter who he played up front with. He could play up front by himself. He could play in the front 3. He could play in the front 2 with any of them, man. and he was always putting in work and putting in graft. The guy is an absolute genius. I think he's criminally disrespected.
Yeah. As a United fan, look, I think everyone knows I rate Mo Salah highly, and I think with his statistics are better than Wayne Rooney's. He's probably going to have better longevity in his career because he's already 30, and Wayne Rooney has started to fade by this point. But that's two elements. When it comes to clutch moments, iconic moments, Rooney is clear of him. Some of his, the greatest Premier League goal of all time in a Manchester derby, in a title race. The fact that he's won everything and more that Mohamed Salah has won as well. And look, we would say Wayne Rooney's longevity. Yes, he did start fading at around 30, but the guy started playing at 16.
That's what I was going to say. Didn't he have 12 years at the top level at least?
Yeah, so it's the longevity. You've got to look at when he started compared to when he finished. Mo Salah wasn't playing first team Premier League football at 16 years of age. He wasn't good enough. I think Salah's issue is the trophies for me. I think you could argue statistically, some may argue clutch moments. Liverpool fans will remember his moments more than maybe they remember Wayne Rooney's. Although I think Rooney's greatest moments.
They won't. The Liverpool fans remember Wayne Rooney's moments more. Obviously, the ones we like our age, they will remember Wayne Rooney's moment. The Newcastle goal.
And if you think it's true, and if you think about the two seasons where Liverpool won the Premier League and Champions League, their iconic players and their poster boys in those seasons weren't even Mo Salah. They were all bigging up Trent, Van Dijk, Henderson, and Mane. Those were their guys. Those were the guys that were. They only really started focusing on Mo Salah about a year and a half ago when he was being tipped to be the Ballon d'Or winner, the best in the world. Suddenly, they all switched their attention to him, and I always found that really disrespectful. But for me, I've got to put Wayne Rooney. Are we all putting Wayne Rooney into the winning position in this debate?
It's just savage when you put winner and loser, though, isn't it? Because Mo Salah's no loser. Let's be honest. He's terrorized us over the last few years. Tommy had him in his back pocket earlier on this season, which was quite nice. But I have a feeling that there's going to be something in the pocket in the next couple of weeks.
Alonso had this guy in his pocket learning the finals last season. So,
I wanted to say, like a lot of people saying Mo Salah's better. The conversation isn't who's better. The conversation is who's got the greatest legacy. And just because you're better doesn't mean your legacy is better.
But he's not even better. Like he's not.
I don't think he's better. I don't think he's better.
He's not even better.
I actually think Wayne Rooney gets disrespected when it comes to the GOAT conversation. He's often overlooked, and I think the problem Man United have got is that we've had so many players that are candidates. We don't have a standout who we all kind of universally get behind. Arsenal have Thierry Henry. City, I don't know whether they'll put KDB forward or if it's David Silva or Aguero, but they have someone they'll stand behind. Most clubs have a player, normally with who's Chelsea's GOAT candidate? Is
Lampard,
it
Lampard, Zola?
Oh, it's Lampard. It's not even...
I think if you ask Man United, if you ask Man United fans, I reckon.
And I'm a Zola guy.
And I get that, but I think if you ask Man United fans who the United candidate is to GOAT, you'd have about 10 different answers. Yeah. You really would, and that don't help. We did have a super chat that came in though that put Mo Salah into the number one position on that debate. However, there's another one that's just come in here that says Rooney is a better player, but Salah's legacy will be far better. The reason is 30. What? The reason is in 30 years, Salah's legacy in Africa will always carry on, whereas Rooney's will be replaced by the next Englishman.
I understand that. That makes sense because it's almost like a worldwide legacy. It's why Arsenal signed Inamoto in '99. To try and make a presence in Japan, and like he's Africa's starlight, isn't he? When it comes to England starlight, is that going to be Saka? Is that going to be Kane? Is that going to be Rooney? Was Beckham once upon a time?
But that statement about Africa, I don't think he surpasses Eto'o Drogba for Africa.
In our age group,
isn't it not Mane right now?
Mane, yeah.
Like, or even all the Liverpool fans were back in Mane last year before he left. It was all about Mane. When he won the African Cup of Nations, he beat Salah. Like he beat Salah to the pip. He knocked him out of the World Cup qualifiers. Like it's Mane. Like it's his generation right now. That's what I think. Anyway,
it's because Mane's so humble. You know what I mean? He had that broke up iPhone for like 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, you know, the debate's still open. People can still super chat. We picked as the panel Wayne Rooney, but Liverpool fans back in their guy tonight, and they currently have him top of that list. It's going to cost £15 to get him off because that's what they've paid, and you've got to respect people's super chats. You've got to respect their opinions as well. But I don't necessarily know if Mo Salah gets the respect from the whole of Africa enough, in my opinion. What was good to see, though, to be fair, when I was over in Doha, we come across a bunch of Ghanaians, must have been about 15, 20 of them. And Ghana had gone out and like, oh, who are you repping now? And they're like, oh, we're all staying to support Morocco, which I thought was really good. And sometimes I think, how do I say this in the right way? Every African person I met out in Doha who was born in Africa and lives in Africa, in one of the countries there, was behind Morocco. A lot of African people from Ghana, Nigeria that are born and bred in England, they seem to have more of an issue with the Arab African nations than people who are actually born and bred and live there. It was very different. They're very different, actually. You know, like when you mingle with people and actually get to meet people from certain countries, it's just such a different feel. And also, I used to think a lot of people hated England until I was there. And barring one or two nations, they're all supporting us. Over here, we don't even support ourselves. It's crazy. It's just crazy. He just scored, so hold that. Is he just scored right now? Is he Mo Salah? Fair enough.
He's the GOAT again. He's the GOAT again.
Rooney's retired.
He's the GOAT again now. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Football Terrace as well, please. This is open, so at any point you want to super chat for anybody, you can do it at any point during the show.